All right.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, Sharon. This is my handsome grandson,
Ah,
wherever he is. I have it wrong every time. He's probably over
your
there.
laugh.
But to me, he's over here, and it's probably wrong. Anyway, a Gen Zer. I'm really excited to talk to Ethan today because he's 17 years old and he's a high school senior, and you really have a lot of great information and wisdom, and you're so
Thank you.
articulate. I'm very excited to have you on the
Thank you.
channel. And I think everybody will love to. And if you have questions, for Ethan, go ahead and type them in, and we'll answer them, or Ethan will. So
Try my best.
just to give a brief, I'm just going to go here and do a screen share
Yeah.
with just a little. Take me a second to do the tab. Here it is. Just to show that Gen Zs are from 97 to 2012, and Ethan fits in the 2005. Is that right, Ethan?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so we've got these generation, and a lot of us here are baby boomers, including me. But let me get this off the screen, and we'll go back to our screen share. Do we want this or do we want this?
Both are good.
Both are good. Okay, so now we know what the years are for Gen Z. And it's the first generation to grow up with access to the internet. That's all you know. You know that. That's like your reality.
Yeah.
And portable digital technology like smartphones and whatnot, that's like normal to you.
Yeah. For sure.
Go ahead.
I find myself having a hard time thinking about not having the access to technology I have right now, because it has developed who I am as a person, and the things I'm interested in. So it's hard to imagine what it would be like. Though
Right.
I consider it.
Would you say it broadened your horizons having all
Yeah,
that technology? Because
sure.
information's at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
You can look things up.
You can look up anything. I use it for school. I use it to talk with my friends. I use it for entertainment. I use it for everything. And it's very extremely personalized. It, and I understand, like, it didn't used to be that way. And there are positive and negative things about having that very easy access to technology and information, excuse me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hi, Aries girl. Virgo moon. She's a Gen Xer. She's not a baby boomer like me, but I am absolutely. This is something really interesting. I read in The Economist, it's described Gen Zers as more educated, well-behaved, stressed, and depressed compared to previous generations.
Oh yeah, stressed and depressed for sure.
Are you well-behaved?
Personally, yes, but I don't think there are plenty of people in my high school who will go to prison.
But let me say, you're a senior in a private high school, a privileged upper middle class background. Would you say that's a fair assessment, or and
for sure it is. And it is a fair assessment. I am very privileged. I tell my mom that I live in the greatest country in the greatest state. Or I should say the wealthiest.
We're telling the viewers, we're just telling our community that, so they'll have a
healthy space.
perspective. They'll
Yeah,
understand where you're coming from when you talk about everything. You're coming from that
exactly.
background.
Yeah,
So of course it's going to color your, you know,
I can imagine.
perspective on everything, right? Even
For sure.
though I think you've got a very fair view of everything, from what
I
we've
do.
talked about.
Um, I think that I can uh, use empathy to the
Yeah.
best of my ability to
Mhm.
understand what people who are less privileged than I am understand how they feel and why they
That's
feel the way that they feel. I think it's important uh, to listen, even if you might not agree with those people. You know?
Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, Aries girl, Virgo moon has a Gen Zer, so I wonder how he compares. So, uh, I mean, compares in terms of his philosophy about life in general, which
Yeah,
we're going to get
yeah,
into
for
all
sure.
that, because
Uh-huh.
every individual is going to be a little different, obviously. But
Yeah,
we were just trying to pick the brains of the Gen Z because we're leaving our world in your hands, and we want to make sure, what are you going to do with the
no
world?
pressure.
So, um, uh, we also understand Gen Z is on track to become the best educated generation yet.
Oh, for
What?
sure. I agree with that. I think I have full access to everything I want to learn. I would put, um, uh, I have access to uh, my hobbies and my passions. And without access to that, uh, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. I feel like I have access to the bigger picture. And that has to do with every part of um, every, if I want to know something, I can learn about it, and that includes religion. It includes
Playing guitar or
politics. Yeah,
know
exactly. Playing
anything?
guitar. Um, how do I do math? How do I do geometry? How do
Yeah,
I how do I write
yeah,
a
it's
book?
really
You
true.
know? Yeah, for
You
sure.
really have the ability to go
Yeah,
anywhere
exactly.
using that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really true. It opens all the doors up for
exactly. If I wanted
right.
to, I could make music. If I wanted to, I could make a movie.
Mhm.
We have the technology has uh, advanced to the point where uh, people can be more creative, and I think that's
Yeah, that's
one
really
of the
great.
positive things about
Mhm.
the future is things will get easier. People might get more lazy, but I think um, having that access to information will make it a more equitable future. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it will. I think
for sure.
that's a good insight into that.
So,
And
so for sure, that's a
yeah,
yeah,
well, we went through a time there where we had the COVID thing restrictions, and it really just
yeah,
shifted everything for your generation. But
yeah,
you know, can you give me a view about how your life was before COVID?
yeah,
Socially or generally, and educationally, etc. And then
yeah.
tell me about it after. What?
Uh,
Huh,
so life before COVID,
yeah.
I feel like right now I'm very close, if not already there, to life before COVID. But I think that I was meeting more people when I was a freshman, right before COVID started. I met a lot of people. I knew a lot of people, and after that, I kind of lost connection with a lot of the people that I used to know. And so right now, um,
Wow.
I don't have a whole lot of friends, and I think a lot of people are my age are experiencing that.
Mhm. Did that
Not
make you
having a
feel
large
like
group of friends.
you had to learn how to open up to new friends,
Yeah, for
and
sure. Yeah, and I've
it,
met new people
it
this
had
year.
to mature you? And
Yeah, yeah, for
it's
sure.
like going to a new school, but it wasn't a
Yeah,
new school,
it
but for you
totally
it was.
is. It's
Yeah.
totally you're relearning how to make friends and how to socialize. And that was a lot of how I felt um, a year ago when I was getting back to school and um, re-meeting my friends, relearn, because I
Oh
didn't spend
man.
time with them for a long time,
Oh
and
gosh.
I feel like people my age experienced that. I but afterwards, after COVID, I feel like I'm back on track. I'm spending more time with my friends.
Awesome.
I feel like my education is back to where it should be,
Yeah.
more or less. And so I think I think most teenagers would say that we're over the COVID era. Is thankfully
Totally.
over, for
Thank
sure.
goodness. Because I
Yeah, thank
mean, you probably felt like during the COVID restrictions, you probably lost that contact with your friends because why contact them? You can't go over to their house. It's
exactly. Yeah, all you
like
could do
you
is
two, you aren't
text
going
them.
to chat on the phone like they're your girlfriend because they're your
Yeah,
boyfriend. It's
exactly.
not like that.
Yeah, it's not the same, for sure. It's not the same
It's not
thing.
the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and I just wanted to throw this banner up here that Aries girl, Virgo moon,
Hmm.
has a son who's now 20, and that's well within the Azir generation, raised
Hmm.
in Marin County, California, which isn't too far from Ethan's in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Uh, he went to a private school. Yep, yep, K through 9, then kindergarten, regular school. Yeah, that's so great. That's so great.
Hmm.
Glad to hear that. Yeah, the Gen Zers are going to save the world. We need to understand them and embrace them.
Oh gosh.
That's very, I can understand you being proud of your son. That is just wonderful. And there there are psychological effects of COVID. Uh,
For sure.
yeah, from the
Um.
lockdown. And as you
Yeah.
said, you kind of touched on that's kind of the feeling after you got out of COVID, where
Yeah.
first of all, you were separated from all your friends. That
I
was
was.
psychologically damaging.
Yeah. You had to learn how to be okay with yourself, and for
Yeah, you
me,
had.
I feel like that was positive. I didn't mind being alone for a good half of a year. Because I feel like I've learned to love myself. Uh,
Oh, that's wonderful.
and I think that's more important
It
than
is.
whatever I ended up missing
Well,
at
that's
school.
your foundation for life, right? If you can
Yeah,
love yourself, you can go out and you can give love and empathy to others, and
yeah,
that's your
yeah,
foundation
for
for
sure.
everything that you'll do. When you get a
Loving
job,
people. Yeah,
yeah,
getting a job. Hmm. And I
yeah,
did. I last year I worked for 13 months at McDonald's, near
which,
my
by
house.
the way, not
Yeah,
to interrupt you, but by the way, that is extremely rare for a Gen Zer who usually it's a very low, like 17% of you work
yeah,
in your teenage years. So you
hmm,
had a family or you had the gumption inside of you that said, I want to get
yeah.
out there and make some money.
Um,
So,
Exactly. Personally, I didn't need to work. I wanted to work for uh, just to distract myself from being
oh,
away from people. Really, that's how
that makes
why I did
sense.
it.
It got you out
And
of the
I met
house, right? And
exactly. I met a lot of
mhm,
new people, people I wouldn't have met otherwise, and I
yeah,
think it's broadened uh, my perspective of the Sacramento community, full
yeah.
of interesting people. People would
Oh,
say.
very colorful and interesting because
Yeah,
you live near the fabulous 40 area
yeah,
downtown,
I do.
and so you get all of the downtown colors and flavors.
Yeah, and
And there are a
yeah,
lot.
and my McDonald's, it was next to the freeway, so you see a
Yeah,
lot of Sacramento, lots of
transient.
homeless people.
Yeah.
I had many experiences, negative experiences with the homeless population over there, down the street, but
Oh, wow.
you know, it I anyway, it's a terrible situation. I don't know a
They need to
good
somehow resolve it. Uh,
yeah, I don't
uh,
know how that would happen. I've always been a fan of um, camps to put somewhere else to put homeless people. Uh, uh, and so that they can have a place to stay and get a job and all that. You know,
I know they need to put something in place, but sometimes the homeless don't want to go somewhere
that's
else.
true.
They
And
just want to do their own thing.
do they have
I,
something like that in Nevada or at least Las Vegas for
they
homeless
do.
people?
They
Yeah.
do. Yep.
Do you
They
think
do
it
have
works?
that. Uh, as far as I can see, compared to Sacramento kind of like chased them out of downtown, and they're all in the park there
Yeah.
or underneath the
Yeah.
freeway.
What
And
they do?
this is what we saw as we were driving through to go to Sacramento for Thanksgiving. But uh, I mean, these are human beings who have a story, and we certainly can't, we don't walk in their shoes, and we can't really talk about their journey or their experience. And some of them
I
are veterans who have
yeah.
trauma
Hmm.
and they're unable to work. They're not together, and they
I
do the best
I
they
for,
can.
I think it's
So
a very humongous issue, and I think it should be um, in the forefront of our list of problems that need solving. I think it should be on
yes,
the front because it's important for their safety and other people's safety. Um,
I agree. I agree.
but
But
but anyway, you know,
some of them do have mental issues that, and they need medication to stay
yeah,
balanced, and
exactly.
they
And
could be harmful to themselves or others. Yeah,
I'm okay with social programs to help the
me
homeless. I
too.
think that's necessary. I don't think
Yep.
it's going to get done any other way.
Hey, Gen Z,
Exactly,
I feel better.
because it's missing. You know, there's never been ways that society, you know, the societies don't usually help homeless people, but um, with the new social democracy we've got going on,
Yeah,
I think it's totally possible in the near future to help the people that need help. Um,
yeah, that would be great. That would be great. And
for
that,
sure.
and that, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had a good, speaking of McDonald's, I had a good time. I worked there for 13 months. I was a crew trainer. I taught people how to work there. Um, I, uh, I made more money than the other kids. um, so I had a good time. It was a good experience. I wouldn't
Yeah,
go back. Food service isn't exactly something I'm a fan of, but
it's a hard experience.
it is a hard experience. I
Coming home
totally,
smelling like McDonald's
oh yeah.
hamburgers or
And you
grease.
know,
You smell like the
yeah,
French fries, right?
yeah.
But I mean, you are on track to uh, go into engineering, so that's a whole
Yeah,
nother
yeah,
field.
for sure.
We'll talk about that. But so your current view of your view of the current world situation, you know, in all areas, environmentally, socially, as a Gen Zer, because you have so much access to the internet and to the world and viewing everything that's going on, you're
Yeah.
inundated with information, and you
Mhm.
know what our environment's like, what is going on in the world
Mhm.
socially. What's your take on it, and what would you like to see happen if you
Um,
ideally could have everything magically be the way you want?
I think we are on the move for a positive future. I think people uh, are becoming uh, more accepting of different views and different cultures, and it may not seem that way, um, but that's what I believe. And maybe I'm looking at the world from um, shade, tinted lenses, but I do think that it'll get better, and there will be less discrimination in the future, which I think is one of society's major
Major,
problems is
yeah,
discrimination, and
absolutely.
discrimination based on exactly based on how much money you have, based on what you look like. Regardless, it doesn't
Your
matter.
sex, it's a
Exactly
big,
your sex.
yeah.
You for sure. All of that discrimination, I think eventually will go away. It'll take a long time, but I am hopeful. I think that eventually, with uh, learning about other people's perspective. I think eventually we'll come to an agreement as a society that to treat people as they should be treated, like what's
Jesus
taught.
taught. The Ten Commandments, whatever, say it. Go ahead.
Exactly. Exactly.
We all were brought up to that, even though I was,
Yes.
really spiritual background.
Yeah.
I went to Sunday school, and that foundation of truth and love, everything that
Yeah.
Jesus taught, is my foundation. So, you know, he walked the earth and he taught us these wonderful lessons that are pretty
Yeah.
simple to do. I mean, they're
Hmm.
simple.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and they make sense, right?
They do.
Do
Yeah.
unto others as you would have them do unto you. Hello.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
basic, right?
Hmm.
But anyway,
Very basic, fundamental teachings from
yes, basic.
religions across the world. Doesn't matter
Yes,
what
exactly.
religion you did.
Buddhist, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. The golden rule is uh, taught in many languages.
It is. You're absolutely right. My grandson just gave me the chills. Yes, that was a universal truth. Uh, it's really true. But
It is.
so what are your personal objectives related to your future, your career, your education, life in general? What are you
That,
seeing and wanting to bring forward for yourself
yeah.
personally as a Gen
So
Zer?
in the near future, I do plan to go to college. I plan to go to Sac City first, and I'll probably go to Sac State um, for the last 2 years. And
Mhm.
I plan to pursue mechanical engineering, like my brother. It's the thing I've been passionate about for uh, many moons. So
Yeah,
I,
Connor, your brother, my other
yeah,
grandson, says you're better than he is. You're so good at it. And
that's what he says,
I've
and
seen
it makes
what
me
you've
feel really
done.
nice.
You're good. Yeah. You
I
have a super talent at it. You know,
Thank you.
that is,
It's what I've
yeah.
been studying
Mhm.
in my own time, on my own time, and in my own space. I've been studying mechanical engineering related business. Um, so I feel like I have a good background for the future, going to college for
That's
that.
fantastic. So,
I'm
is,
excited.
and I'm excited for you, of course.
Thank you.
So, I mean, how do you see yourself, say, in 10 years? Where would you put yourself as far as, uh, you know, working and working environment or, you know,
In 10, yeah. I hope to have a be out of college but in 10 years and have a good paying job,
mhm,
is what I plan, and I think it'll end up like that. I hope
mhm.
that I'll be but I don't know, maybe I won't be able to uh, pay for where I live. I don't know. We're going into a recession, so
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, things cycle back. So, we
that's
could end up
true.
with one of those times where you can, interest rates are super low and you can get a great loan for a
Yeah,
mortgage and whatnot.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I hold out the hope that there's going to be an easy time for you all coming out of college.
yeah. I'm hopeful.
And I think that your ability to bring down a good wage, with a skill like mechanical engineering is
Yeah, I,
that's going to bode well for you.
and
Most
that's
engineering fields are lucrative because they're highly skilled and,
for
you're
sure.
needed for so many different
Yeah,
aspects.
and that's one of the
Yeah.
motivations behind me choosing mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
There'll
Well,
always be a need for them.
it's practical and it's smart because why go learn something that the world isn't going to need?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you know, you're a
yeah,
liberal arts
right.
major. Good. But I want you to
Woo!
hire me because I know liberal arts. Not to disparage
Yeah,
liberal arts because, let me tell
of
you, I
course not.
like literature, I like art,
Of course not.
I like all that. That's my big thing. But anyway, so back to you, Ethan.
I,
Let's
I
see.
and
I just
I would, and yeah, I'd love to start my own business one day.
Yeah, I was seeing you.
That's
I
my
would
dream.
think that you would be, yes, I could see you running your own business.
And it's
Definitely.
something I admire from you. You've started your own business, and I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
In all seriousness, uh,
Thank you, my
I
grandson.
I do want to be, I do want to do something like that, and I don't know what it would be yet. It can be something as simple as making furniture. I'm not sure. We'll
Right.
see what I
You're
end up doing.
multi-talented. Here you work with you work with you can weld metal together and make
Yeah,
fabulous
yeah.
furniture. You're multi-talented.
Mhm.
So this is a hard thing because you can do so many things well.
Thank you.
You can have a lot of hobbies and they can turn into money makers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to
Oh,
make the big bucks in
yeah,
the future,
definitely,
for
definitely.
sure.
I can see that would happen.
Yep.
Um, okay, I am getting down to, let's see. They say that you live more slowly. Gen Zs live more slowly than the previous
Mhm.
generation at the same age. Slowly. I mean, I'm not sure what they mean about that
I
because
I think I
what do they
have
mean?
a I have an idea of what they mean. I think this information, if it was taken away, um, this information that's so easy to attain, if it was taken away at any point, I think a lot of kids my age would have trouble learning at the way that everyone did before the age of the internet. Um, and like I said, the negative thing about all this nice information that's easy to attain is laziness. I think that people, some of my friends, are just lazy, you know,
Oh,
and
oh,
they're not willing to do anything aside what they ought to do to get the bare bare minimum,
results, minimum
bare
results
results.
required.
Yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
I get what you're saying about that. I
so
can
that's what
understand.
I think they mean by we live more slowly. Um, uh, and maybe it's also that um, with all of this information, we have a lot to think about.
Yeah,
That could also be the case. There's a lot to keep in um, to consideration when you're making um, important decisions.
right.
Like who
So
you should vote for.
we're going to get to the politics in a minute because I'm going to put a few things out
You
there
don't
for you.
have
I'm
to
going to give you
if you
scenarios,
don't
and
want to.
I wasn't going to, but I will. I will just
We can
put a
always
little
keep it
bit
for
out there and
later. That can
see
be a
what's in the.
later.
Well,
We can always make a separate
a
discussion for.
separate
Yeah, we totally could.
in case Ethan's ideas don't meld with grandma.
Yeah, I don't want to taint this video
Don't
with bad
taint this video.
vibes.
Very good idea. Um, do you really feel that Gen Z is a quieter generation, as people have said?
I,
Quieter,
I think
you
so.
know,
Uh,
yeah, because
I
you're not
think
out there
that
causing trouble.
at least in my experience, I've met a lot of introverted people. I don't meet a lot of extroverted people. A lot
Maybe
of people
it's
consider themselves introverts. Like I
is
don't
it
like.
because do you think it's because you're all in your own little world doing your
Yeah,
social and
I
technological
exactly.
things?
I
You're
think we've exactly what I was thinking. Everyone's kind of in their own space, doing their own thing, and it's allowed them to experience knowing themselves in a completely new way, to
right,
express themselves in a completely new way. And I think
right,
it does breed uh, introvertedness. Just not having the face-to-face conversation, the same experience, having face-to-face discussions with people as people would, you know,
Like when
have
you're
to.
texting versus the facial cues you get when you're looking at
Exactly.
somebody. Yeah.
Yes. Everything I have ever texted somebody,
You
like
can't hear their voice inflections and the tone.
exactly. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, that's why I think that um, people are. I think people are more introverted. Yeah, I would say so. I think I'm. I would consider myself an introvert. You
And
know,
yet,
I don't
you
like.
know, you're a
I'm here
Leo.
right now.
You're a Leo, and a Leo is like the sun shines right on the Leo, and they're like out there. So, introverted or not, you're going to end up being some kind of leader doing whatever you do because that's what a Leo does.
Mhm.
So, there you are. But you can definitely, even though we can be introvert, it's like a little sliding scale there
Yeah,
where,
it's
you know,
definitely a spectrum.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, do you spend more time on technology and less time reading books, which is another thing they say about Gen Z?
Oh yeah, of course. I read books for school, but other than that, um, uh, I do read, just not physical books.
Oh, yeah.
Physical,
I mean, ebooks or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I a lot of the information we get online for school. It's just reading digital books. So I do read, but I don't read for entertainment. And
Right.
I don't think my friends do either. I think that's a very uh, people would just rather have that information be people are just lazy. People want to watch videos and like this.
Hey, watch it. You're a little too close to home here. Now,
Uh-huh.
everybody like and subscribe. Ethan doesn't have his own YouTube channel going yet, but we'll have him back on when he does. We can all subscribe to your Gen Z, whatever
That
you
sounds
create.
great.
um, okay, what are your views of key social and policy issues right now? Like, for instance, the uh, I don't want to get too political, but
Yeah,
uh, the right to gay marriage, for instance, that seems to be an innate human thing that nobody should be able to tell you what you can and cannot do. It's just like common sense. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I
I
mean,
totally think that
government
people should
shouldn't be telling us what we're.
exactly.
Hello.
I agree. I think people should be able to do uh, pretty much whatever they want, unless it infringes on other people's rights. Um,
Thank you. Well
and that
said.
includes gay marriage and all of the other things uh,
Amen.
that
The
people are
women's
discussing
rights
these days.
issues. The women.
Exactly.
Thank you.
The right to
Thank you,
choice
Ethan.
and all of that
I
other
would
stuff.
vote for Gen Z. Are you? Listen, you're 17 and you turn 18 in next year.
July 20, yeah, next year,
Yes.
July
Yeah,
27th.
next year. So when it comes time to vote, you will be able to vote again
I
for
will.
the first time.
Isn't that
Are you
scary?
excited? Will you make sure you
Yeah,
get
I'm
down there
super
and vote?
excited. I don't think a lot of I'm personally I'm super excited. I don't think the people around me are as excited to vote as I am. I think I'm an outlier, personally. My brother doesn't really care, and my friends don't really care either. So I feel uh, it may yeah. I just
I think
I am super excited.
you seem more, yeah, you seem to take issues more seriously, and that makes you more interested in what's
I've been
going
told I'm a
on.
deep thinker. Yeah.
Yeah. You might have to go into some politics too. I mean,
I,
political offices. Who knows? You might
I
have to
would
take
love
some political science in school.
I would love to. If I had the choice to, I would probably choose to. So we'll see.
We'll see. This is another thing that I've read about Gen Zers, and I wanted to know if you feel, it doesn't sound like you do. They say that because of the COVID thing and all the stuff that happened and the way our economy is right now,
Yeah.
that Gen Zers feel an uncertainty in the future or about future possibilities. It seems not true anymore now that the COVID, that was probably from 2020.
Yeah.
Seems like that's kind of shifted now, and
Yeah,
there-
I feel like there are I do I don't feel any more uncertain about the future than people would normally. So I don't think there's mass uncertainty. I do think the world get progress. You know, there will be trials and tribulations on the way, but I do
Mhm.
think the world will get better. And as long as people, uh, and yes, climate change is very
Yeah,
important.
Lisa Foster, you're
Exactly.
absolutely right. Climate change
Yeah.
is like number one. We aren't going to have a planet if we keep this up.
Yeah.
So,
And it's raining right
are
now.
we going to
It's
Mars
raining
so
over
hard so
for
we can think we're
days.
going to live on Mars? let's,
It's
let's
raining over.
stop what we're doing and take care of Earth.
Exactly. There are periods of time where it rains for a very, very long time, and then it doesn't rain for a very, very long time. And I think that shows signs of climate change for sure.
Well, what
Um,
about all the volcanoes going off around the Ring of Fire? What's
oh yeah,
happening with Mauna Loa?
it's not making it any better.
See, all these, there's the volcano in Spain. All these volcanoes just show all the activity that's happening
Yeah,
under the earth. The plates are
yeah,
shifting, earthquakes are happening,
yeah,
and we're having the Arctic ice melting, for goodness sakes. And that does not bode well.
yeah.
Or
I know,
you guys have to come up with something.
I know. We've got to, or we're all gonna die.
I know. Come on, Gen Zers.
I
Think
know.
of
It's all up to
something.
me. The
Don't
fate
make
of
any more
the world.
plastic. Don't make any more fluorocarbon whatevers
Yes.
that go into the air and ruin our
Yeah.
ozone. Um,
Yeah.
quit making gas cars. But California's progressive there, so I can't really complain about
Yeah,
all
we're
of it.
getting rid of them in
Yes, getting rid.
2035, I think,
Yeah, I
which is
think
pretty
it's
soon. That's coming up
yeah,
there.
yeah,
You know, I'll experience it for most of my life. The
yeah,
carbon.
yeah.
So it definitely affects my
Again,
financial future.
got to motivate you, according to Lisa Foster. She's absolutely right. I totally agree.
And yeah,
Get
I'm taking.
motivated.
Speaking of that, I'm taking a environmental sustainability class in high school right now. I am learning about ways to help the environment. So that's definitely a humongous focus uh, of students. Save us.
See, Lisa Foster. I'm on here
Don't
trying.
worry, I'll save you.
Ethan, Gen Z, save us. I mean, I'm trying to tell you, all these people are waiting on the Gen Zers. Get in there and get the show rolling. They said the oldest Gen Zers out there now are
Yeah.
23 years old. So
Uh,
get in there and start doing something.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
For sure.
we are depending on you guys. This is a serious thing. So
It is
environment is
extremely
definitely.
serious, and it will only get worse if we don't do something about it. You know, so
I
it,
know.
yeah,
It's. I try not to think too much about it because
it is scary. Yeah, I agree.
it's really frightening to think that when all that ice melts in the Arctic, you know, it's not going to be
Yeah,
good.
bye bye California.
Coastlines, coastlines are not going to be the same anymore.
Yeah,
And, you know, even places like Venice right now, Venice can't keep itself out of being in the water. It's just The last time I
Yeah.
was there in Italy, it's
Very
completely
wet.
you have to walk on tables through St. Mark's Square. It's ridiculous. And that was just, between like 10 years apart, those visits.
Yeah.
It's a
Mhm.
scary thing, really, really. Just anyway. So what other things would you do to change the landscape? I mean, would you like if you were part of the UN or part of NATO,
Yeah.
like what would you do in terms of, you know,
Well, I give
getting
people,
countries like Russia under control? I mean,
yeah, and usually I give people the benefit of the doubt, regardless what the people in power the benefit of the doubt, regardless of whatever political party they're a part of, um,
mhm.
to you know that they're trying their best to make everyone content and happy. But sometimes people's needs are overlooked, and I think that uh, is what people get upset over. Is when some people's needs are attended to, whilst others are
Well,
seemingly
how about
forgotten.
well, that just brings me to China. China has massive protests because Xi Jinping
Yeah.
has them locked down 4 years in a row. So this
Yes.
is like a crisis to these people. They
Yes.
can't even leave their house. Their
Isn't that
house,
that's yeah, exactly. And
they're out there massively protesting. So what
I
about
think
those
what about those people?
human rights issues? It's
Yeah,
world
I
it's
think they have every
worldwide
right to take whatever
for
action they think
entertainment
is
purposes only.
necessary to secure their right to a democracy,
Right.
and that
But right.
includes violence. Yes, it really does. I think it's not okay what's going on in China right now. I and other parts of the world that are in desperate need of a democracy, like Iran. you know,
Totally.
yeah.
I totally agree with you there.
So for sure,
Um, yeah.
I'm all for democratization. I'm all for that.
You've been raised well, my grandson. We are depending on you. So don't let us down. There's a huge amount of people out there waiting for good things to happen. Oh, and this is what Lisa's saying. And once
Yeah,
again, she's got a good
don't move
mind.
to Florida.
Don't move to Florida.
I will try not to.
It will,
Uh,
first of all, it's a bad political climate, and it's going to have to be falling into the ocean because the
oh yeah, for sure.
water will
It'll sink
rise up and take it. It's all
just like
swampland.
just like California. It'll all sink
Mm.
eventually, unless of course something's done about it. For sure.
I think um, I think it was Edgar Casey. I don't know if everyone knows who Edgar Casey was, but he was the sleeping prophet. And Ethan, you probably don't know who he is. But in the 1930s, he would go into a trance and he would um, channel information from supposedly the Akashic records. But he's been right on a lot of things. And he says that the coastlines, like the West Coast and the East Coast, because of all the earth changes, water, the earthquakes, plates dropping
Yeah.
and shifting, like all the way to even Nevada, they said
Yeah.
the border would end up being Nebraska down to a
Wow.
little part of Arizona coming
Yeah.
or New Mexico. And I'm like,
Yeah.
holy, that, whoa, that's like,
Yeah.
gosh,
That's not good news.
that's not good. I don't know when that would happen, but mm, you
Yeah.
know, maybe we've negated some of it, but we definitely need to. work
Yeah.
harder on the whole
Yeah.
thing. But right now, you're getting your education.
Yeah.
You could throw some political science in there and get you into politics. No, you don't have to go into politics, because you could be like a Navalny and just have a group of people that try and educate people about what's going on and how you can change things.
Yeah. For
Just
sure.
yeah, yeah. Lisa Foster, you probably don't know who Dolores Cannon is, but Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist who could put people into trance, and she could get information
Mhm.
from these people, from their past lives, from future lives, much like them reading their own Akashic records. But she would take them through this uh, hypnotherapy, and she would be able to get all this information. And she made a map of the future. Yeah, my city, Nevada's not there anymore. But I loved Dolores Cannon. She wrote so many books about all the information that she got. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyone who hasn't read her information should.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really wonderful. So anyway, we're down to the very end of our show, because I'm out of questions. I could. Can you think of anything you want to say about, since you have a platform here? And
I think, yeah, for sure. I think my takeaway on life at the moment is whether or not you're a good person is not determined by who you are, who you surround yourself with, I should say, or what you believe in, or what rituals you practice. It's how you treat other people. And as long as you treat other people with the respect that they deserve, I think if everyone did that, I think we would reach that perfection that I was talking about earlier.
well said.
Yeah, giving others the benefit of the doubt is also very important. Treat everyone with equity so we can have equality.
Yay. Very good. Well, as a representative of Gen Z, you've done well.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm proud you're my grandchild.
I hope I did the other Gen Z people proud.
I think you have. I'm impressed, and you're very articulate and well spoken. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on my channel, and I
of course
thank everyone who has been watching our show, and for all of those who will catch it on the replay. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe. We'll hear more from Ethan in the future, and we'll check back with him. So we'll have him on again. And Ethan, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And
I had
you
fun.
You gave us a really good view of what Gen Z is all about. Yeah. And I'm leaving with a really good feeling that our world is going to be in good hands.
Of course.
We're going to say goodbye. We're going to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for watching.